Prepare for victory. Let's go.
It's not just a speed and endurance and strength sport. It is a sport about toughness.
Spartan Warriors!
Now the hunt is on.
We are back in Big Bear, California for race 2 of the Spartan U.S. Mountain Series, the sprint presented by the U.S. Air Force Special Ops. I'm David Magida along with Kevin Donahue. And Kevin, this course is going to see a dramatic change. We have a 2-lap sprint course instead of the traditional mountain course due to inclement weather. How is that going to impact the race today?
With the obstacle density in these cold, wet, nasty conditions, the athlete that has the most experience on these obstacles and can move through fast and efficiently is going to be the one we might see out on top.
Now, Veejay Jones is going to be an impact player today, as well as Ryan Kent. Can Ian Hosek hold on to his series lead, and does he stand a chance of competing with them on this sprint course?
The speed of this course and their obstacle proficiency certainly favors them, but it favors Ian Hosek too. He is really good at this, and he's in the lead for a reason.
Now, our women's series leader, Alyssa Hawley, will not be racing in this race today. What do you expect to see from the women's race?
Ashley Heller is also out there today, and she is an obstacle dominator. But so is Casey Monroe, and she's been running really strong this year. So just like the men, the ladies who could run clean and efficiently are going to have the best chance today.
Again, inclement weather causing havoc out on this course, a massive change in format. For more on this, our very own Steve Hammond.
Well, what an epic morning we've had at Big Bear here. We've had blizzards on the top. We've had 60-mile-an-hour winds and 3 or 4 inches of snow up there. The course is nuts. A little bit of a reroute. We're doing 2 quick laps of this obstacle, hilly nuts of a course. It's going to be super exciting out here. We're going to see who's going to come out on top on the obstacles. I think there'll be failure-centric everywhere. We'll see how it will come out. But we had some heroes on the course yesterday tackling this monster of a beast. More on that, check this out.
We were really excited when we started looking to kind of share our stories and find people of similar mindset to find Spartan. Spartan athletes are the right kind of crazy. You're always looking for that challenge. For folks that are looking to get into Air Force Special Operations or even just taking on the next Spartan race, it's all about finding that deeper why. So truly dedicate yourself to a hard and worthy path and then doing everything you can to succeed at it.
Well, we're expecting an incredible day of racing out here today at Big Bear Lake, and it's adventure season at Big Bear Lake. Live it up with crisp mountain air and a beautiful alpine lake that's jumping with trout. Off-roading, hiking, and mountain biking trails are waiting to be explored, and wildflowers are creating a gorgeous backdrop for the photographer in you. Family adventures abound with zip-line action, alpine slides, and even panning for gold. See wonderful wildlife at the zoo or explore history and nature at the Discovery Center. Head to your Southern California mountain lake escape by booking your adventure today at bigbear.com. The start line of the first sprint course of this mountain series in this format, possibly ever. 2 laps, 1.5 miles per lap, and a ton of obstacles as we hit each of them twice.
And they are shot out of a gun because this is going to be a fast and furious course where they're doing many of these obstacles twice.
An incredible opportunity for some of the more obstacle specialist athletes and a huge break for those who are not as strong in those mountains. And if you are one of these mountain guys, never fear, there's plenty of leg strength to be had. And don't be surprised to see people's legs blowing up despite the fact that we aren't going to be climbing the same mountains as before.
Yeah, yesterday it was all about staying aerobic. Today, these guys will be redlining the entire time, trying to go through all these obstacles and getting to them as fast as they possibly can.
Now, don't be surprised if Veejay Jones comes out of the gate and just drops the hammer over the course of the first mile. He wants to impose his will, 1, because he believes he's the fastest man in the field, and he likely is, but 2, because he's fresh. He's one of the few guys in this race who didn't run yesterday in the Beast.
He's fresh, and so is the mud on the ground. As you saw him turn that corner, you could see how sloppy the conditions were. As you just said, Veejay Jones is taking the lead with Ian Hosek in the blue jacket just behind him, and Ryan Kent coming up just behind Ian with the man bun on top of his head.
Yes, Mr. Man Bun, Ryan Kent trying to make a statement. He is the dominant force in the stadium races, and this is going to be about the same amount of time. We're expecting about 30 minutes or so for this race. Very much in his wheelhouse, but he's got his hands full trying to hold back Veejay Jones, who looks just so smooth and fluid up this first climb.
What is also in his wheelhouse is, talking about Ryan Kent, is he's going to get an opportunity to do the bucket twice today. A lot of the obstacles are doing 2 times. The only one they will hit once is the Hercules hoist and that multi-rig and barbed wire crawl at the end.
And look at this spread already. That was Chris Miano who moved into the lead just momentarily. He's the brother of Natalie Miano, and she's obviously married to Mark Batros as well. So it's a family affair when they come out to the events here on the West Coast.
Yeah, certainly Southern California. They all come out, as well as a lot of the athletes they coach are here today as well.
So the athletes will make their way up this first climb the same as yesterday's start to the race. It's nasty kicker right out of the gates. They'll go over the overwall at the top there, about a quarter mile up total, turn around, take it right back down this massive descent and into 3 obstacles, boom, boom, boom. It's going to be tire flip, helix, spear throw.
And that spear throw, they're going to have to do twice today, and they're going to be all on top of each other when they get to these obstacles. It is so tight, and this course is so short. We're really going to see a tremendous amount of action today.
Part of it for the top contenders in this field is going to be to get to these obstacles before your opponents, because it is possible that there may be a backup at some of these obstacles.
There could be. The other thing will be is to get in and out of those obstacles quickly. In a race this short with this many dense obstacles, it's so important to get into the obstacle and out as quickly as possible.
Now for more on what's going on here, the 4th member of our broadcast team, David Watson. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Guys, I'm out here on course. You can see the conditions extremely muddy. A lot of snow, a lot of rain overnight. Here's not too bad. We're next to the Yokohama tire flip. Down a little bit further, I mean, it's like ice skating. I mean, I've got some grippy shoes on and I'm all over the place. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see if, racing-wise, they can even hold their feet. Time will tell, but I can tell you, super slippery. It's a mudslide.
Thanks a lot, Dave. As that is Miano in second place, Ian Hosick sitting in third, and I believe Forrest Bouge in 4th position as well. Now, Veejay Jones, keep in mind, he's only 20 years old. He's only lost 1 race on the season, a narrow second-place finish in the Seattle race, the U.S. National Series event, where he did 30 burpees and still almost stole victory from Ryan Atkins.
20 years old, and his hairpin turn around this mud as they're coming to the tire. He is the youngest athlete to ever win a Spartan race, and he's only 20, and he has the experience of these series veterans here.
Now, don't be surprised if they have no trouble with flips on these tires on the first round through, but the tires have been sitting in this dirt, which is turning to mud. The first round through is simple, but you see how much more lodged into the mud it is on that second go-round. Don't be shocked if the next time they make this return, people have issues with the tire as it lands in the more muddy terrain and sinks in and they struggle to get their fingers under.
And what's contributing to that mud is the moisture in the water that's in the tires. It flipped them over. All that water popped out and created a lot more mud than was there before.
So that is Ian Hosick in your sight in blue. Just behind him, Ryan Kent charging through in positions 3 and 4 right now as they make their way into the helix for the first time.
And the interesting about the helix, you're putting your wet, cold hands already on wet, cold bars. And this is going to start that process that the hand's starting to freeze, the hand's starting to get a little bit numb. On the first lap, it won't be that much of an issue, but on the second lap, especially after they go through that dunk wall, it's going to be a factor as Veejay is navigating it right now.
The cold is going to impact them dramatically. Not on lap 1. Right now, everybody's heart rates are high, everybody's warmed up, they feel good. But you're right, once they are wet, that dunk wall is going to cause carnage. There was talks about maybe they should only have it on the second lap, but they have made it a requirement for the elite field. They have to hit that dunk wall twice, and that means about 15 or 20 minutes of being soaking wet towards the end of this race.
And Ryan Kent and Ian Hosick just hit the bell, but Veejay is already at the spear. And at a race this short, this is actually already starting to stretch out into a pretty big lead.
He's going to impose his will early on. His objective, he knows everyone's legs are going to be flat, and so he is going to get to the spear quickly and try and get in and out of these obstacles rapidly. Note his selection, his location of which spear he chose.
He chose a spear with a very flat ground. A lot of these spears are on a high ground, and he also did a very cagey veteran move. He ran into that spear with his throwing hand up his shirt to get more heat from his chest and drills it right in the center and runs off to the rope climb.
Quality. Also worth noting, if you looked at the angle of those spears, there was a slight adjustment in the fence to the angle there, and that was probably the shortest distance of any spear to throw. We want them to be consistent, but they aren't always. That was a good spear to take. A perfect throw by Ryan Kent, and he's off and running. We got Ian Hosick in third, also hitting the spear. and a miss from position 4. So now an opportunity for Aaron Newell and some of these other guys to shift into the top 5.
That was Aaron Newell in the black shirt with the cut-off sleeves that just ran into the spear. As Veejay Jones is heading up this cargo net, it's actually very taut. This cargo net's a little easier to get over than some of the cargo nets we've seen.
The one in Seattle was very loose, for example. It caused a lot of athletes to slip and fall kind of between the straps.
For a fast race, this is going to be very, as he slips through, he got caught in the crotch, and this is going to cost him time.
A little bit of time. Fortunately, Veejay has energy to give and time to spare, because that's only Ryan Kent behind him and not many others, as you see Glenn Reyes in a bunch with Aaron Newell. Glenn in the black with the black hair, long sleeves. Robert Killian with the, let's call it the short hair.
Very short hair. The Bracken Crocker do, as we like to call
The
it.
Mr. Clean look, if you will. As Veejay Jones has already completed 1/2 of his sled drag. And this right here for the athletes who raced yesterday, a lot of taxing pressure on the hamstrings coming back up that hill.
And you can see how slippery it is. Ryan Kent slipped just trying to put on the brakes, and Veejay Jones goes down. That sled drag as they come back up is pure mud. It's going to be very slippery for them to drag this back up, and it's going to be much harder than the previous day.
Now Veejay already into the bucket carry now. The bucket carry, 2 laps of this on this course. He's trying to keep his hands warm. You can see him clenching, unclenching, tucking his hands underneath his shirt. He wants to keep those fingers dexterous because the cold can limit your circulation and can cause you to lose a lot of that dexterity.
He's trying to keep as much heat on those hands now, so when he gets towards the end of the race, when he gets to that multi-rig, he still has enough grip in his hand to be able to hang on.
And fortunately for these athletes, they only have to do the multi-rig once, because an obstacle that isn't that tough, as you can see Robert getting snagged on a divot there, Robert Killian. An obstacle that isn't that tough for them normally, when they're this cold, when their hands are this wet, it can pose problems. And look at Veejay already a solid 100 meters ahead of the next athlete as we go into the next obstacle, the bucket carry.
And Aaron Newell just picked up a tremendous amount of time. He was with Robert Killian and Glenn Reyes at the rope, and now he's almost already at the bucket as well.
Wow, Veejay Jones, just a machine up this bucket climb. There's only 2 hills on each of these laps, and this is your second, an 80-pound bucket in hand. Smooth and methodical as he climbs. No one else has reached the bucket. I think there's your second contender right there. That looks like Ian Hosek.
That is Ian Hosek being followed closely behind by Ryan Kent, and Ryan Kent is exactly where he wants to be, on a bucket carry with first place in his sights.
Yeah, of course, but you know, there's no signs of slow from Veejay Jones. As you can see over his shoulder, that beautiful Big Bear Lake that we're working with here.
What you can't see here is what's about an hour before the race, where they're standing right now was all snow.
Incredible.
It snowed overnight, and it completely covered the entire slope and the entire course.
Make note of Robert Killian's form here. He's doing what's more of a mover's carry technique, where if you've ever had movers come and move boxes for you, they load it on their backs this way, right above their pelvis, and it enables them to move quickly and efficiently and not sacrifice their stride at all by having a bucket or a box in front of them to carry.
It's more taxing on the grip, but because they don't have the bucket against their chest, it allows their lungs to expand a little bit more, saves their breath. It's a little bit more aerobically efficient.
Keeps pressure off the back as well. As you can see, Veejay already back up to speed, looking incredibly comfortable, considering the high heart rate that these athletes are going to experience, something in the 185 to 190 range possibly over the course of this race. He looks incredibly comfortable.
And Ryan Kent, as you can see, took over second place, but Ian Hosek just blew past him on the downhill on the bucket carry.
Super fast descent out of Ian Hosek. That's an unbelievable move from him, as Veejay Jones now making his way into the pipe layer. An over-under technique is going to be required to get through this thing. It just forces the body to compress, expand, pull, push, lift, a lot of hip and groin use out of it as well.
For most athletes at Veejay's height, something like pipe layer could cause a lot of problems, but he's so nimble, he's so flexible, and he's also a parkour athlete. So a lot of these moves are very easy for him and something that he actually enjoys.
Yeah, you can see him making quick work of it over under, and he is tall. I mean, he stands at about 6 foot, 6'1", possibly more, and for him, easy work out of the pipe layer and back up to speed. And look, a descent for him to get to open up here before he heads into the first of 2 rounds of the rolling mud pits.
And we're watching Robert Killian right there. He's wearing what's called, actually he's just wearing regular mittens to try to keep his hands as dry as possible, but he's going to have to sacrifice those dry hands, because once he hits that dunk wall, those gloves are going to get messy, and he cannot discard them. He has to carry them with him for the entirety rest of the course.
Well, right now it's the Veejay Jones show and a battle for second place because you have Ian Hosek, Ryan Kent, Robert Killian, and Aaron Newell all going to war seeking out those final 2 podium positions. But it's going to be a tough job to catch this man already 1 lap into the race and destroying the field. That's Veejay Jones.
And this is the spot that all the athletes have been dreading today. When they told them they had to do the dunk wall twice, in the start corral, you saw a lot of people that actually started almost looking for the exits. So everybody who took on this challenge today has been worried about this moment, and Veejay has hit it the first time.
This is the obstacle that was preventing some of the athletes from even wanting to sign up for the race today. I mean, we're talking about it's 37 degrees outside. It's been raining and or snowing all day, heavy winds, and the sun just seems to come and go, tucking behind clouds, and that will change the feeling of the temperature out there dramatically as he takes a left for his first lap. He'll take a right after that obstacle on his second. The cold mixed with this water can make it just absolutely brutal. It can take your breath away, and it can really shock the system.
It could also cause a tremendous amount of cramping on the men and the ladies who have already run the race yesterday.
Well, that's the Herc hoist he's on right now. Hercules hoist, no problem at all for Veejay. He's got 3 pulls to the top, maybe a 4th little one.
And he's able to eat up so much rope with those long arms. It only takes him a few pulls to get to the top, lower it with control, and now he's off to go back to where the start line started to run underneath the A-frame to start the course for his second lap. As Ian Hosek now is holding off Aaron Newell for second place as they go into the Herc hoist.
And Ian Hosek actually won the first Mountain Series race, which was a beast, but Aaron Newell beat him the following day in Montana on the sprint course. So they both know how dangerous the other is.
And Veejay Jones is now going cutoff, Rocky style.
Sammy Sosa.
As he heads up the mountain. And Aaron Newell, who is no stranger to cold weather, has no problem with this. He's actually a lot stronger athlete than people give him credit for. And when he gets to a Herc hoist, as he's there right next to Ryan Kent, he'll put as much energy into it as anybody in the world.
Now, kind of surprising move from Ian Hosek running that far behind the Herc hoist. It's extra distance and time, but he did make quick work of it. He's off and running, and Ryan Kent's right on their heels as well. So you do have a 3-man race for second place right now. Robert Killian also lurking in the background.
What we noticed here, the water that collected in his headband, it started running to his eyes, and he dropped the headband down. It looks like Aaron Newell has done the same thing. So the kind of the conditions, the muddy water is starting to roll into their eyes and starting to affect their vision, and that's certainly something that they need for the rest of these obstacles that they hit them the second time around.
So now this is the halfway mark on the race. They're coming under this A-frame cargo net for the second time, and they're going to encounter the big climb for the second time. And you can see not quite as easy the second time around. The legs are going to be trashed from not just the first climb and all the obstacles, how anaerobic some of those obstacles were, but the high tempo that was demanded out of the legs is going to take a toll on this second lap.
And not surprising, Veejay Jones has already lapped somebody that already started the course.
That is actually unbelievable. So this is Aaron Newell you're looking at right now. He sits in 3rd place right now in this race, and just in front of him, Ian Hosek, the man who wanted as many mountains as possible but didn't get his wish today.
And just behind Aaron Newell is Ryan Kent.
Well, that's Glenn Reyes making his way under the A-frame and starting his second lap with his patented head bobble. And the women's start is off. People to keep mark of course, Nicole Mericle, dominant force, taking 3rd place here yesterday, as well as Rhea Kolbl. But don't forget about Alex Walker. She is an absolute monster out there, especially on the short track.
Alex Walker is there in the orange jacket. Nicole Mericle is in the purple, just ran past, and Ashley Heller is wearing that black cutoff vest.
Yeah, Ashley Heller not to be discounted in the race today. She could be a big factor with her track speed.
And she is second in the Mountain Series right now.
And this is, again, your men's leader, Veejay Jones, just in front of Ian Hosek in the blue vest and Aaron Newell in black.
And the pace that Veejay set out early is starting to wear on him. You can see how much he's laboring now right now as he hits this hill, but it was worth it because he's created such a big lead.
And that's Newell gaining ground on Ian Hosek just in front of him. They're going to reach the peak very close together, possibly less than 10 seconds apart. And you can see the problem for them is Veejay Jones is about to round the top turn of this big climb. and how else are they going to be able to reel him back in?
There's about 50 yards between Aaron Newell, Ian Hosick, and Veejay Jones. Once he hits these walls, he'll be able to bomb downhill again and then be able, he's so obstacle efficient. He's not going to give up any time at those obstacles, so he's just going to continue to create a gap as long as he's clean.
Well, and 50 yards on this uphill is really equal to about 150 yards, 200 yards on this downhill. So you're about to see as he comes over these walls and rounds this turn, things are going to make a shift. His speed on this descent is going to be dramatic. You're going to see a huge separation form right here.
And what's going to be interesting is the footing. Now that the herd of men have already come down the hill, how good is the footing going to be as Nicole Mericle is finding her footing as she's leading this race?
This is what she likes to do. Nicole Mericle comes out of the gates hot in almost every race. Her objective is to destroy the field around her, and she is putting a huge gap between herself and the rest of the women's field early. Look for Kolbl to try and respond to that start, but there's going to be so much speed because Nicole knows she doesn't have to hold back for an additional 10 miles. This is just 3. She thrives on the high-speed, high-tempo races.
And Veejay is able to see all the athletes that are coming up. He just passed Killian. He's passing all the other men. And what's interesting because of this race between the men's and women's start times is the men and the women are now mixed on the course.
The top men and the top women going off at the same time, basically for the first time ever.
And we'll be at the obstacles together. Right now, Glenn Race is right behind Ashley Heller coming up the hill.
It's important to note, this is how fast Nicole Mericle is going. She's putting distance between herself and Glenn Race, Robert Killian, and a number of other top men.
Veejay trying to find his grip. He's got it. You could see the extra mud because of the water that popped out of the tires. He's going to lower this down.
Onto his fingers for control. As you can see, athletes, men's field athletes, are still just getting to the tire, and Veejay is already there for the second time.
Incredible.
So he makes his way into Helix, and that's your women's leader, Nicole Mericle, making it look easy.
As you see Ryan Kent coming down on the other side, that gives you the idea, the distance between him and Veejay Jones right now.
That's pretty big separation. Now, Ryan Kent is sitting in about 4th or 5th position in the men's field right now, but he wants to make a charge. Now, he always says in the stadium races, which are of about similar length of time transpired, about 30 minutes, he does not like to blow it out early. He likes to save his energy and start pushing about a mile in, so we'll see if that's the strategy that he's employing today as well.
Veejay Jones hitting the helix for the second time, and now he's hitting it with very cold hands. He's hit the dunk wall. He's been out there for a while. He can't really use his shirt for warmth anymore because it's already been wet. So he has to be a little bit more careful here, and you can see the angst on his face.
He's got to be a little bit nervous. You know, he's outrun the field right now, but he hasn't been able to break the field yet, and he doesn't want to make any mistakes. As Ian Hosick is struggling to get his fingers under that tire. That's what we were talking about before, as you see him digging underneath, trying to clear some of that mud out.
Burrowing as Aaron Newell gets his hands underneath very quickly.
Aaron Newell and Ryan Kent has just given up on the tire that he's on. He's relocated to another tire. Wow, we're seeing the tire play a huge factor in this race right now as Veejay Jones runs away from the field.
The efficiency on that obstacle right there is changing the race.
So that's right now Nicole Mericle way out in front in the women's race. You can see in the distance behind her Kolbl. But right now it's the Nicole Mericle show, much the same as Veejay Jones in the men's race.
And what Nicole is wearing right now is called a blegmet. It's kind of like a glommet. It's neoprene, so it's going to keep her hands a little bit more warm and dry in the wet weather.
Nicole's an unbelievable athlete because she was able to run to a 3rd place finish in this 13-mile beast course yesterday where they were just running up and down the mountains all day. Turn around today and just impose her will on the field on but a speed, fast course.
And fun fact, when Nicole heard this morning that the race was only going to be 1 lap, she decided to race. Then she found out it was 2 and decided, well, I already committed, I'm going to go for it.
Well, Veejay Jones has finished the rope climb, and he is into the A-frame cargo net as he makes his way into his 2nd pass through the festival area. This is the last time he's got to go through this obstacle, as you saw a shot of Aaron Newell as well. Now, as he makes his way over the top, Dave Watson is up there at the top of the net with him. Dave.
Guys, I'm up here on A-frame. Veejay coming over with the beautiful roll. I tell you what, he looks super strong. He is moving very quickly indeed. The cold is not affecting him at all, and he's even feeling happy about it. He's got this in the bag. He's pumped up. I love this. There he goes.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave. And as Veejay makes his turn right now into the sled drag, he knows how close he is to the finish already, but it's a lot of strength-intensive grip obstacles to go.
When's the last time we had a running dialogue with our athlete and field reporter at the same time?
I've never seen anything like it before. Having been in that field myself, I have never once tried to climb that cargo net.
I don't think I'd have the energy to talk to anyone as Aaron Newell.
Lucky strike. We will take that hit from Aaron Newell. He's excited. He's stoked. He knows that he controls his destiny for second place right now. And look how quickly his girlfriend, Nicole Mericle, is making her way across Helix, already out of it.
That is the closest you could come to making a spear without missing it. The spear tip at the bottom of the spear actually hit the ground and bounced back up. As long as it rests and doesn't continue to touch the ground, it is a solid spear, so that is a good throw.
It was. He threw that quite low, as you can see now. Veejay Jones approaching the bucket carry. This man is on a mission, and his mission is just simply destroy the rest of the field.
And the best part about this bucket carry, he'll be able to eyeball everybody else coming up, so he can just gauge his pace a little bit.
Well, Nicole Mericle has already made it into her first pass at the spear throw, and we know this is an obstacle that has been troublesome for a lot of the women's field. She's had her issues with it in the past. We'll see how things shake out for her. She's already needing to adjust which spear she's on. She couldn't get it out of the target.
And knowing that they have 2 spears today, it makes it even that much more critical in a short race.
Yeah, if you miss a spear on this, 30 burpees is pretty much the end of your opportunity to hit the podium. So Nicole's going to take her time and make sure she's very deliberate about this throw.
And you could tell with the hair whipping to the right.
Whoa! That is about as close as a spear could get. You said Aaron's spear was close. That was like nothing I've ever seen. Upper right-hand corner, upper 90 we call that.
There was no room left.
I'm not actually sure how that spear stuck, but that was unbelievable. And she's thrilled, but a lot of work left to be done for Nicole Mericle, right up the rope climb and into the A-frame cargo net for her.
She's had so many throws that have actually been much better than that not go in. She earned the right to have one like that, so close, finally stick for her.
That is definitely the opposite of a bad break. That is as good a break as you can get in an obstacle like that. As Ryan Kent now trying to choose the right drag for him on the sled. For him, the opportunity to hold that third place position. You saw him make that pass on Ian Hosek over on that tire flip where Ian struggled. And look who's hard charging. That's Robert Killian in 4th position right now.
Robert Killian is hanging in there, and the conditions of this sled drag are just getting worse. Ryan Kent is trying to find anywhere that's some kind of solid ground that he can step on to drag that up.
Savvy moves by the 2 of them. You see that the routes that they selected still have a bunch of straw on the ground for them to get some traction on. Some drier spots that are easier to pull from.
Just a little bit as Killian pulls that up and tries to use a sideways technique with his feet as he just dropped that on his right ankle, and you can see the grimace on his face.
And look at this. We saw all of those athletes together on the hill, and they're still all together. Nicole Mericle still going toe-to-toe with the men on her first lap while they're wrapping up their second.
They are all mixed together right now. This is some of the coolest, most fun racing that I've ever seen.
Oh, so you can see how slick and slippery it is. She's trying to find her traction on that straw just to the side. The compromise you make is you gain traction for the feet, but the sled is also facing more traction
and
as
in
well.
the background on the A-frame cargo net, you can see Amanda Nadeau and Alex Walker charging into the sled drag right now.
Alex Walker in the orange jacket, Amanda Nadeau in the orange pants.
And Ashley Heller with the black cutoff sleeve vest right behind Amanda Nadeau.
So a huge women's battle for second place right now. Anybody can shake this out. Again, Robert Killian going to the mover carry. Lap 2 for Robert Killian, still trying to preserve that back and trying to preserve those legs.
At this point right now, it's go time. It is this bucket carry, they shoot down over the pipe layer, and then it's just a race to the finish.
I mean, we're talking about a 10-second separation between Robert Killian and Ryan Kent. And right now, Ryan Kent is running scared, and Robert Killian is running desperate because only one of them is going to get a podium spot.
But what we're seeing now with those glommets that Nicole is wearing, takes them off so she can get a little more dexterity, a little bit more grip on that bucket, and starts to head up the hill.
She looks just so comfortable. Never shows any signs of weakness, just stoic all the time.
What's going to be interesting is a lot of these athletes, especially the ladies, wore kind of heavier rain jackets. I wonder how much that's going to slow them down, how much that's going to make them cold. After they go into that dunk wall, it could be a factor, as now we watch Alex Walker make her way up to the bucket.
So Alex Walker not that far behind. She's got a lot of speed to give, fantastic runner, but it's a tall order to ask her to run with Nicole Mericle on a course like this. And that's Amanda Nadeau just behind her. So the two of them are locked in a very tight battle right now, and the bucket is a place where a lot of time can be made or lost.
Alex Walker, she's from San Antonio, Texas. She's used to training in 100-degree heat every single day. So a course like this today is a little bit more difficult for her to try to match those conditions, because she does not see cold like this on an everyday basis.
Amanda Nadeau, I believe the Canadian, so much more used to this weather.
The exact opposite. This is her summertime.
Yes, this is her summertime. And this is, of course,
Aaron Newell made that push on that tire. He was the most efficient out of the Ryan Kent, Ian Hosick group when they got bunched up there, and that means that he's in second place right now and has a little bit of a lead.
well, an opportunity for a descent, an opportunity to catch her breath, but look who just showed up. That is Rhea Kolbl, and she has just passed Amanda Nadeau up this hill and moved into third position, pushing Nadeau down to fourth place.
With Ashley Heller not far behind, and Ashley Heller is a very strong athlete. Not to mention, she used to be a big-time skier in the U.S. National Ski Development Team, so she kind of likes this cold weather.
Well, this is Veejay Jones right now drying off his hands, or trying to at least get some of the mud off him. They are so cold, so damp, so slick, and now he's going to take his last crack here. Final failable obstacle, the multi-rig.
He's trying to find any place where he can get that moisture up his hands, and is not going to find anything. That multi-rig today is going to be a huge challenge for these athletes today, even though it's just rings.
Yeah, it's a big shift from yesterday. No pipe, no rope staff to grip. It's just rings. So some athletes will even opt for example, Nicole might, the chicken wing technique through the entire multi-rig.
We've seen that from the ladies in many of these cold weather races. Just as recently as Seattle, where they would chicken wing the entire rig. It takes a lot longer, but it's certainly a much more sure technique when your hands are frozen and numb and you can barely feel them.
Veejay Jones already through the multi-rig and into the barbed wire crawl. He came here for one reason and one reason only, and that was this sprint race. He told us yesterday he didn't have a desire to run this beast course for the National Series. He was already out of contention in the National Series, but why not come out and dominate the sprint on day 2?
You know what was crazy? He was actually still in 7th place going into the National Series without that one race.
That's unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, here you have it, your winner of Race 2 of the U.S. Mountain Series, brought to you by the United States Air Force Special Ops. That's Veejay Jones in dominant fashion.
Showing that swag, looking behind, seeing nobody behind him, and then just walking across the finish line.
Piece of cake for him, barely looks tired at all, barely even cold, and Aaron Newell is taking a look back. He looks like he could clinch second place if he just gets through this multi-rig safely. As Nicole Mericle bears down upon that first set of rolling mud and dunk wall.
This is where it's going to really start becoming a race for the ladies. Once they hit that dunk wall, every single obstacle after that is going to become that much more difficult.
And look how smooth and confident Aaron Newell is as he goes through this obstacle. Just no issues at all, but taking no chances, doing a matching technique, both hands on a single ring.
Very conservative. He wants to make sure that as he goes through the pendulum of that swing, that he has both hands on those rings so the gravity does not pull him off. He could go through that set maybe doing 2 to 3 moves.
And Nicole Mericle, for some reason, trying to spare her hands for getting wet. There's no avoiding it on this one because you have to go under this dunk wall right here. But tentative. This is how all the athletes feel as they come under this dunk wall. It's cold, it's miserable, and they know how much they've got to suffer through. As we've got Veejay Jones with Dave Watson at the finish.
You're turning back, you're looking for your mum back there, you're just relaxing. What were you doing at the end there?
My heart rate monitor broke off of its strap, and I didn't want to lose it. So I made sure I got it, but we're good.
We could get you another one of those, don't worry. Mate,
Right,
you were so poised, you were so calm and confident out there today. What's running through your mind right now?
You know, I was excited for the original sprint, but then I found out we're gonna have an obstacle-dense short course. And that's what I love to do, that's my favorite. So yeah, I just knew if I could hang on for the first lap, it usually takes me about a mile and a half to warm up. So I believe my second lap was probably faster than the first. The first I was burning second I was good, but it just felt good the whole time. And I know, like, this guy, he ran yesterday, so I don't know if it's fair to have a comparison here. I'm fresh, but.
Well, look, you did a fantastic job today. Yet another win for this season.
Yeah, really.
20 years old. I think everybody is just so excited by what's ahead for you, mate. Congratulations again, and great job today.
Thank you so much,
Good
sir.
on you, Veejay.
Oh, thanks a lot, Dave Watson, as you see Ryan Kent working his way across the finish line, clinching third place, and you know it's a day of redemption for him after what he felt was a disastrous showing yesterday in the Beast. And Robert Killian right behind him as well, taking fourth. Both of them have got to feel much better about this performance.
There's a green beret flying through.
Oh, and we've got Watson with Kent right now.
Mate, how are the legs feeling after yesterday?
They feel pretty brutal. You just didn't have as much gas in your legs to push up the hills. But, dude, it was fun, man. Like, the legs felt loose, like, once you kind of got going, but the power was out of them.
Maybe we've got to do this this 2-lap format, short course format a bit
man.
more.
That's fun, like, doing something like a bucket carry twice in like a 20-minute span, that can change the game, like, you know, big time. So.
You've been popping around different series this season. You've been in the US National Series, now the Mountain Series, the Stadium Series. You raced in Europe. What are your thoughts going into the rest of the season now?
Well, first of all, the great thing about Spartan is there are these different series, kind of caters to whatever athlete you want to be. I take pride in trying to do everything. So I love that there's different series to do. But as far as moving into the rest of the season, didn't have my best performance yesterday. Going to look to rebound in Utah and just close the season out strong into West Virginia and Tahoe.
Can't wait to see you there, mate. Congratulations, a huge weekend. Well done, Ryan.
As Glenn Reyes makes his way across the finish line, big thanks to Dave Watson doing that interview in a branded garbage bag. Gotta love that.
And did you see the spit and saliva coming off of Ryan Kent's chin, the mud on his face, the wind, the water? They're exhausted, but that's what Spartan is. It's grit, and it's gnarly, and it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Ian Hosek making his way to the finish, a disappointing finish, some struggles today with the tire flip getting jammed up and a miss on the spear throw costing him tremendously, but a really strong performance out of Veejay Jones, Aaron Newell, and Ryan Kent as your top three men. As your leader in the women's race right now, Nicole Mericle ascends for the second time up the first big climb.
Yeah, talking about a strong performance. Here she goes again. She finished third in the race yesterday, and right now she's crushing it in first place.
That is one destroyed vest from Ian Hosek right there as he works his way across the line.
You want to ruin your jacket? Go fast in the bar crawl with it.
Yeah, of course. This is a gritty, nasty race that we had here today. Cold, wet, barbed wire, of course. But our top men crushed it today as we look up at the final results. A dominant performance and victory out of Veejay Jones, followed by Aaron Newell in second, Ryan Kent in third, Robert Killian in fourth, and rounded it out, Glenn Reyes taking in fifth position.
Great to see Glenn back out there. He's been doing a lot of Ultra Beast, so to see him on a nice short mountain course was awesome.
One of my oldest friends and rivals, Glenn Reyes, great athlete, phenomenal person. Phenomenal to see him taking a top 5 finish here. And right now, it is the women's race that matters. The talk of the town as Nicole Mericle is dominating right now, and it's a battle for second and third.
Let's go.
And like moles in the woods are just popping out of the bushes, popping out of the water. And that's a good look there at Rhea Kolbl.
Rhea Kolbl with Amanda Nadeau hot on her heels. We're going to have a war between the two of them. Kolbl likes this climb. She's trying to put pressure on Nadeau right now, but Nadeau is going to be more proficient through all the obstacles over the second half of this race. So if Rhea wants to hold her off, she's going to need to put more space between them.
And Rhea traditionally has struggled on obstacles in very cold, wet weather. She pulled it together in Seattle last month, but this is going to be a true test for her on the second lap.
This is also key for her to get as warm as possible on this climb, because she also struggles with cold. When she gets cold, she starts to fall apart a little bit. We've seen it impact her in the rest of the races. She's only got about maybe 10, 12 minutes left to go, but she does need to hammer here.
And every bit of clothing she has on there makes her wet, as we see Timmy Brand, who was the captain of her soccer team at UC Santa Barbara, and she is one of the better short course racers in Spartan as well, and showing it right now.
So Nicole Mericle, you see the first place, descending off the big climb. She's got a small lead over Nicole Mericle, excuse me, a small lead over Rhea Kolbl, but it is growing, and she is a much better descender than Rhea is as well. And these are sloppy, rocky conditions.
And she had 2 great saves right there. There was 2 times right there where I thought she was going to go down.
Yeah, she's flying down that hill. She's got another tire flip, which doesn't tend to pose problems to the women, and then it's helix and spear throw. That's where she's got to be careful.
If you're wondering why they would risk running downhill so fast, it's actually a lot of times a lot safer in wet, sloppy terrain. If you're trying to brake all the time, you're more apt to fall. So it's better to go with the course as long as you have the athleticism at the bottom to kind of turn the corner and throttle down.
Just going with gravity. That's the big thing. It's easier on the legs. It's less work for the quads going with gravity. And yes, you're often less likely to take a spill or take a fall. 1 flip with ease for Nicole, 2 flips back the other way and onto helix.
Now, once she hits the helix, that's going to start the process of her trying to keep that right hand warm so she could hit that spear throw again. If she's able to hit the spear, she could put this away.
So you see Timmy Brand again, but that was Amanda Nadeau in the distance making her descent. So Rhea Kolbl in second position, Amanda Nadeau in third, but don't count out the likes of Alex Walker. Don't count out the likes of Ashley Heller.
Nope. Ashley Heller, believe it or not, hates the rain. For somebody who loves to ski and loves the outdoors, she doesn't like the elements, but she's toughing it out today.
Well, right now the story is all Nicole Mericle. She looks so smooth and dominant, as that is Amanda Nadeau making her way into the tire flip just behind Rhea Kolbl.
For this Canadian, just another day at the beach.
Yes, and that is Kolbl right there, trying to get her hands underneath to get a good flip. She is struggling with this tire more than normal for sure, and she lost probably about 1 flip's worth of time on that turnaround right there. Nadeau so quick in and out of that tire.
Now, Rhea is a tremendous climber, as we see Alex Walker coming into the tire.
We talked about this. She's going to put a strong push in the second half of this course.
I was just talking about Amanda Nadeau and Rhea Kolbl. Rhea Kolbl, as good a climber as she is, it's not going to really help her in this style of racing. In the mud, as short as it is, someone like Amanda Nadeau could just turn on the jets and run her down.
And look how nasty these conditions are, by the way. The reason the camera looks like that is because there is so much rain dumping down that they just can't keep that lens clean and dry. As Nicole Mericle goes back to the same lucky spear position that she threw from the first round.
Oh, hey, you're not going to try a different spear after you got as lucky as she did on that first
Oh, my God,
one.
that's her lucky spear for sure. So, lining up, real smooth, cautious shot. This is the thing that could completely dethrone her, or the opportunity to make her race right here. A solid hit, and the race should be hers.
And she still took the poise and the time to straighten out the tip of the spear just a little bit. It was really, really bent.
Oh, it's a much better throw out of her.
Absolutely, right dead center as Amanda Nadeau is flying through now.
Looks like she may have made a pass over Rhea Kolbl on this obstacle.
Rhea Kolbl is still right in front of her, and you got to think those wet, sloppy clothes that Rhea is wearing right now has to be slowing her down and keep making her more cold.
Look how fast Alex Walker's making this obstacle. She's just slipping right through. Big, long reach. Lead with the left hand, follow with a long reach with the left leg.
Alex Walker is a Yancey Culp athlete, and he has them train all the time with their hands in cold, wet buckets down in Texas because they never really see the cold weather. So she's done her best to try to prepare for this. Let's see if it pays off for the second part of this race.
Now, Nicole Mericle is making her way over the A-frame. Look how she goes to the side. The edges close to the truss, the vertical truss, that is where the most tension will be in that cargo net, and that allows you to have the most speed ascending and descending. As Nadeau and Kolbl are now neck and neck. Nadeau may even throw first. She does. Rhea Kolbl taking her time, and it just cost her a position. They both hit. Whoa. That looks like it might actually count as a miss. It was a direct shot, but Rhea's going to have to do 15 burpees anyways, and this has opened the door for Alex Walker.
You talk about Nicole's throw. Nicole's was way off to the top right the first time and stuck in. Rhea threw hers right in the middle, and it bounced right out.
She missed the spear yesterday as well and still managed to take second place on her birthday.
So she's not going to give up here, and Alex Walker knows that she could put herself in podium position.
And she did. Nails it. Now, Alex Walker knows time to hammer because with Rhea doing burpees, she needs to put a gap between them. This is her chance to pull away, and there are no mountains left for Rhea to reel her back in.
None. And there's not really too many obstacles left other than the multi-rig that could really trip up the athletes in front of her.
And we talk all the time about just maintain contact. That's what Alex Walker has done so far. She kept the race tight. She kept it close. She kept Nadeau and Kolbl in her sights and set herself up for one of them to feel her pressure and make a mistake, and that's exactly what happened.
In a sport that is unpredictable as Spartan racing, sometimes that is the best thing to do. Stay somewhat conservative, maintain that vision of the athlete in front of you, and sometimes just wait for them to make a mistake and then pounce on it.
Now Nicole Mericle into the bucket carry, round 2, and for her, it's keep your heart rate down, keep this lead padded, hold tempo, but don't overexert yourself because overexertion is where you can lead to a mistake on a future obstacle. She just needs to get out of this thing cleanly without burning too much energy.
And she'll be able to see everybody on the turn, and she'll know whether she has to pick up the pace a little bit or not.
That was a great throw right there.
And that was Ashley Heller running through, and she's setting herself in position. Talk about maintaining contact. She is not giving up right now. She's not quitting because she knows there could be mistakes coming in front of her.
She looks quick and fierce and speedy right now. And for an athlete now, like Alex Walker, it's not just the battle with Rhea Kolbl who's going to be charging in the battle with Nadeau right in front. It's also to keep off other athletes like Ashley Heller who could be hard charging and are trying to force her to make the same mistakes that she just made Kolbl.
And as slick as this ground is, look how hard is it for her. As she's digging her feet in the ground, she's actually creating divots that might make that sled harder to drag, but it looks like she's got a little momentum now.
This is one of the most, if not the most, physically draining obstacles of today's course because you have to do it twice, because you're fighting the mud, because you're fighting gravity, and because that sled just loves to stick in there. It's probably using more muscular strength than any other obstacle.
And with the mud, it's digging down to where there's some rocks underneath, so it's getting caught on stuff.
And look how fast Nicole Mericle blows by some of the men from the Elite Wave that started 15 to 20 minutes before her. Like they're not even moving, she goes by.
And it's so important right now for Nicole to continue to push hard because if there is a mistake later on, she needs to know that she's going to have enough time equity to make up the 30 burpees if she has to do any.
Well, she's dumped the bucket, she's off and running, and this is going to be the fastest portion of the course for her. This is the flat section on the way in and out of pipe layer and into rolling mud where she can really use that natural track speed she has. And she is a full bucket length ahead of Alex Walker.
So with Alex Walker coming into the bucket right now, that means Amanda Nadeau is already up there as well, and Rhea Kolbl is still far behind with Ashley Heller chasing from behind.
We can anticipate right now that Nicole Mericle is sitting on about a 1.5 to 2 minute lead over Amanda Nadeau, and there's a small gap between her and Alex Walker.
It's notable to say, too, that not only did Nicole Mericle and Rhea Kolbl run yesterday, but so did Alex and so did Ashley, and they all placed very high in the National Series race yesterday.
They did, and you're looking, I think Alex Walker was 5th yesterday in the women's race.
She was up there pretty far. I'm not sure if her placing, but she was up there. I think it was 15th, actually.
So right now, you see Nicole Mericle making her way into pipe layer, and then it's going to be a downhill descent, rapid fire into that rolling mud pit and dunk wall. She's going to get wet one more time, but she looks like she's no worse for wear as far as cold goes.
Once you get this cold and once you get this wet, jumping in there again, knowing it's that close to the finish line, probably isn't too much in their head.
Not that bad.
No.
It's the first time that's super terrible, and it's the impact of running for 20 minutes afterwards as you see Ashley Heller right now into the bucket carry. This race is not over for her yet either.
It's not. Amanda Nadeau in second place running out of the bucket right now. So it's only Alex Walker and now Ashley Heller
and
along with Rhea Kolbl, who fought her way back up.
So we have a war between them right now.
3rd, 4th, and 5th are all in the bucket right now.
It's impressive to note Amanda Nadeau has just been methodically working her way through these obstacles. She has managed to move into second position just by being incredibly efficient and being consistent with her tempo in this race.
Yeah, if you just saw her on the tire, pick up 5 to 6 seconds on Rhea Kolbl, but she's been doing that on every obstacle in this race so far, and that's where you make up a ton of time.
Did it on her sled drag, in and out of a solid bucket carry, and right now Kolbl again trying to put some gap between herself and Ashley Heller. She's not just fighting for a podium spot, she's trying to now fall to 5th position.
Right, and Ashley Heller and Amanda Nadeau are fighting hard for the series points in the Mountain Series as well.
So this is one hard charge up for Nicole Mericle, and look at that water impact as Alex Walker now trying to charge in and take a podium spot. She's currently sitting in 3rd position, and she needs to hold this position with a hard run here.
Yeah, she's running hard. She's one of the best runners in the central part of the United States. She's one of the most celebrated Spartans in the entire state of Texas, and she's trying to show that respect for the Texas flag now by trying to finish this off with a podium finish.
Now Ashley Heller is going to need a lot of effort on this next downhill with the bucket and onto this flat section if she's going to close on Rhea. And it is a good portion of the course to do that on, because Rhea, again, great climber, doesn't love to descend as quickly.
She does not. She's struggled with some foot injuries over the past, and again, with all that sloppy clothing right now, it's got to be slowing her down. It's Ashley Heller is bombing down the hill right now.
Yeah, she took a look back to see are there any women chasing me, but the only thing that she needs to be concerned about are the women in front of her, and that right now is Alex Walker and Rhea Kolbl. Now, she's only about a minute, not even behind Alex Walker, so there's nothing insurmountable here, especially with the opportunity for obstacle failure still.
Yeah, and we saw Veejay Jones was the first person to get that multi-rig, and you saw how careful and calculating he had to be on that. A lot of men have gone through there already. As we're talking about, you called it the chicken
wing technique. This is what athletes do when they're just concerned about making mistakes. You just swim up to your armpit, one at a time, slip out, up to the next armpit. It's not always comfortable.
It's certainly not fast.
It is safe,
They
though.
are making it look a lot easier than what that is. It takes a tremendous amount of pectoral strength to be able to pull off this move. And you'll watch a lot of the men try this and they cannot execute it.
You know, it takes a lot of flexibility as well just to get in and out of it smoothly, and it helps that when you don't have giant biceps, getting into that's a little bit easier. So that's Nicole Mericle having rung the bell and into the barbed wire now. This day is hers. We knew it as soon as the gun went off. She was going to be a hard woman to beat, and here she is crawling to the finish.
The only key for her right now is to not rip that jacket the way Ian Hosick did.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here you have it. The second race in the Spartan U.S. Mountain Series, brought to you by the United States Air Force Special Ops. Victory is going to go to Nicole Mericle. After a 3rd place finish in the Beast yesterday, your winner on the day, coming out of the last few yards of barbed wire, that's Nicole Mericle, seizing the day, seizing the victory, and establishing herself in the Mountain Series as well.
And with the wind whipping, somebody get her a blanket.
Now, she doesn't even look tired, as now you're looking at Alex Walker making her way over the slip wall.
Thank goodness she wore that orange jacket, because through the smudge on the lens, that's the only way we can pick her up right now. Making the turn and heading up to that very difficult multi-rig.
Still chasing Amanda Nadeau. Now, Nadeau is approaching that multi-rig at the exact moment, but we've got Dave Watson down at the finish line with your champion, Nicole Mericle.
Yet another win. How you feeling?
I feel really good. My calves were a little sore this morning, but I don't know, I saw the course change and it looked fine, so I thought I would jump in.
I think some of your rock climbing skills coming into effect there on a slippery multi-rig, no problem.
Yeah, I think I got a little more like lock-off strength, so it's no problem.
How do you come out of a race like yesterday into today with that amount of speed? How do you recover like that?
I don't know. I mean, normally I wouldn't do back-to-back days like this, especially after like such a huge elevation run like Big Bear yesterday was. So I'm actually surprised that I feel as good as I do. Yeah.
Well, you did an amazing job. It's great to see just how fast you are, how talented you are. We always love to watch your race. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave, and congrats to her, and congrats to Amanda Nadeau, 2nd place in this U.S. Mountain Series race. The Canadian coming in strong, and this is Alex Walker trying to take 3rd position. All that stands between her and a podium finish today is this multi-rig, and although it is a little difficult to see, she is a strong obstacle athlete.
Yeah, she's using the same matching technique that Aaron Ewell used, but it's so important for her to make sure she continues this all the way through.
And as she makes her way towards the final bell, it looks like a miss.
She whiffed.
That is a whiff. She went all the way to the finish and tried to dismount and ring the bell simultaneously. And now this has opened the door for Rhea Kolbl and opened the door for Ashley Heller, as well as Kolbl makes her way into the final failable obstacle of the day, the multi-rig. It's 30 just absolutely demoralizing burpees for Alex Walker, who had third place locked up and is going to watch that be stolen right here by a safe move-in, chicken wing-in Rhea Kolbl.
It was a costly error. She skipped the last ring thinking she could swing right into the bell and just didn't have enough reach.
And look at that, Rhea Kolbl, who was convinced to race just 15 minutes before the start of this event, is going to steal a podium spot from Alex Walker. And you've got to feel for Walker, and yet you've got to be thrilled for Kolbl on a double podium weekend.
You have to. I mean, this is the birthday gift that she got for missing both spears, but I feel terrible for Alex Walker, but it was a crucial mental error that caused it.
It's devastating for her, and you know what, Kolbl, she'll take it. She's never been a sprint specialist. Alex Walker, it can be argued, outran her throughout this entire race today, but this is how Spartan race goes. Sometimes you get the breaks, sometimes you make mistakes, and staying mentally engaged and avoiding those mistakes is the difference between a podium spot and a 4th or 5th place finish.
And sometimes you just look like a happy kid in the mud, exactly the way Rhea Kolbl looks right now.
And as Rhea Kolbl exits out of the mud, she's going to claim a 3rd place finish on the podium for the U.S. Mountain Series. Rhea Kolbl thrilled with her 3rd place finish.
Now that also opens a door for Ashley Heller to pick up some very valuable points in this Mountain Series. Right now she is was trailing Alex Walker, and I can see her in the barbed wire right now. She passed the multi-rig.
And look how fast. Now she's tall, so to move this quickly in the barbed wire is incredibly challenging, especially to the hips. She's about to steal 4th place, and we've got Watson with Rhea Kolbl.
Did you expect to come in 3rd there? I think you missed a spear throw and then came down to the wire at the end against Alex Walker.
Yeah, well, I kind of knew the rig was at the end and it was very sloppy and we were all cold, so I kind of knew I just have to run hard and push hard because it's not over until the finish line. But it was brutal out there. I almost didn't run when I heard the dunk wall is open, so I'm glad I kind of, didn't scare out of it.
What was the course like? Was it super slippery?
It wasn't too bad, actually. The ground was pretty okay. I was worried about the descent, but it was fine. It was more like the dunk wall was pretty cold.
What do you think?
To the system.
Yeah. What do you think of the format? I mean, obviously the mountain was closed. They had to come up with something pretty exciting, I thought.
Yeah, it was very obstacle dense, although I do prefer running up a mountain.
We got plenty more of that coming up the rest of the year. Congratulations on taking that 3rd place right at the end.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Rhea Kolbl with that 3rd place finish, just behind Nicole Mericle in 1st and Amanda Nadeau in 2nd, Ashley Heller in 4th, and rounded up the top 5, Alex Walker, a heartbreaker for her. But there is the story of the day, Nicole Mericle. And on the men's side, Veejay Jones stealing the win, crushing everyone, followed by Aaron Newell, Ryan Kent. On behalf of Kevin Donahue, Dave Watson, and Steve Hammond, I'm David Magida. We will see you all from Utah.